Hello and welcome everyone to our painting stream. We are just continuing to paint all the things today. Last week I finished up my little scorpion. This was a purchased piece, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out. And today I'm going to be starting in on this big old mausoleum, sarcophagus, crypt. I don't know what the technical term is, but this is a piece that we 3D printed here on those machines back there. It's printed in 2 pieces, as you can see, and I've thrown a little quick layer primer on it. If you're interested in any of our 3D prints, you can find them on our website, DysonDungeons.com, and under the attributions page are all of the 3D modelers who made these prints.
And I finished in the exciting world of bedrolls on the ground. So today I just need to do the lantern frame and maybe a little flame on the inside of the lantern, and then there's just a lot of little touch-up stuff.
Yeah, spots. Shading and all that. I'm sort of piecing together. I've been looking at this sarcophagus a while and thinking about what do I want all the different parts and pieces to be. So I'm gonna detach it. We haven't glued it together yet. Well, maybe I'll keep it on. But right now there's sort of this rocky stone along the bottom. So I'm gonna start things off by just laying in some dark gray for this stone. And then I'm probably gonna change things up on the different materials going up on the grid. But this is an early stage where I just need to get some of the base colors in, and I stole the yellow handled brush.
That's okay, I don't need it for this. I'm trying to decide what color to paint the lantern frame. Tiny little lantern frame. Orient to the camera there. I could paint it metallic, like dark aluminum,
or black, like it's painted,
or even gloss green, or that light blue color. Although that
metal makes sense to me. But which metal?
Yeah, I think I'm going to use the dark aluminum.
Okay.
Let's see how that turns out. It's not quite as dark as the steel, but it is that. And I need some water, and so I'll use that for now. And then after I do all the little touch-up, of which there's a lot, I'm trying to decide if that really is an animal hide that I should use for black wash, or whether I should just use blue wash on it.
I'd use black. I think blue would make it toned too similarly to the bed underneath.
I'm going to use the tiniest bit of black wash on it, like almost dry brush it. If it works on this one, then I can do the others, which have stuff on them. And if it doesn't work on this one, then I can repaint it a 4th time. It used to be green. Okay, these metallics, I'm going to need all of like 1 drop, and probably just take it right out of the bottle cap.
I find that's best when you're doing really fine work. It's easy to get way too much.
And just really tiny stuff.
And I'm not being very careful right now because this is just base layer and it's more about getting coverage than it is about putting it in cleanly, because I'll paint over any smudges, and there's a lot of little cracks and crevices in this crypt to cover. So I need to make sure I get good in-depth coverage. Okay, so I've really loosely just gotten this gray around the bottom. I wanted to get that in quick so that it could get a chance to dry. So I could handle it as I work up different parts. So I'm kind of vacillating a bit on how I want this crypt to look, because on the one hand, it's a very fancy crypt, so it must belong to some very wealthy people. So they probably have very fine materials making up this crypt. While that's drying, I'm gonna work on the roof a little. And I'm trying to determine, are these little gargoyles gonna be made out of stone, or are they made out of metal? I kind of like the idea of doing little metal sculptures that are kind of like rusted in awkward spots. It might bump up the creepiness of this mausoleum, or whatever it is, crypt.
Mm-hmm.
All
like
of that.
Rusted iron kind of.
And I'm thinking a lot of this is going to be done in red and white granite. A lot of this crypt. So other than the base here, I think reds, and I'm going to use the scarlet and the ivory a lot to sort of create this red and white granite. And then I'll go in and shade them up over time in different inconsistent and make it look really worn and ancient. So reds for a lot of these bricks I'm gonna do in red, and the pillars I'll probably do in a white and make them almost marbled. But I'm thinking I'm gonna use the scarlet red, kind of like I did on this scorpion here, for a lot of it, unless you think I should go in a different direction.
Yeah, I think the red stone will make it look creepier.
Reds, blacks, and whites mostly. Okay.
But we've done the red granite
in the dwarven architecture.
And it came out really well.
And this is probably a dwarven crypt, so that works out. I'm gonna need a lot more scarlet than I usually use, because there's a lot of area to cover. So what I'm gonna do is start getting this covered
It's kind of a good color for it.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. And I'm being, as I said earlier, a bit messy here. I just...
Oh, you've got the scarlet red. Good. I need just the tiniest drop of it. Touch up a little spot. Get that colored.
There is just so much surface area here. And I don't want to spend all year painting our single roof, so making sure I get along the edges and the corners, everything like that.
Yeah, you find whenever you're doing a textured surface, yeah, there's always these little like, insets, that little divots and things that just don't take the paint.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go back with a little brush and dab paint into them. Okay, now
This looks so bright right now, but it does fade when it dries.
yeah,
It also will be heavily washed in order to really tone down this color. So, while it looks very bright and bloody right now, it will not always look this way.
here's an example. This is the same red.
That's the sort of look I'm going towards.
And then you put a black wash on it, and it looks very weathered and not bright at all.
You can leave that here as an example. Okay. So I have double check, make sure I got all my little corners. Really, just got that red in. That's what I am doing right now, but then, while this dries, I'll move back to the bottom and start putting in the red there. The bottom here is mostly dried. I'll probably need a bit more scarlet before this is through. So I'm going to start with the worst part. I'm getting into this little brick in the gaps. There's no way I can really cleanly get in there, so I'm not going to sweat it. Grab a little more scarlet as I work in all of these spots. Just slowly getting everything covered.
So you're going to do the spiral columns.
White marble.
That will be a contrast.
Mm-hmm. Although that will also get toned down when I do the shading. So the bulk of this crypt, the structure of it is in this sort of red granite, which will be a lot less red later. It looks very like a fire truck right now.
Yeah, well, the scorpion looked that way too.
That's true.
No, it doesn't.
What I'm really trying to do is get in the crevices behind these sculptures. I'll be cleaning them up when I paint the sculptures themselves, but for the moment, I really need to get in these almost impossible to otherwise reach crevices. And then when I get done with the bulk of this red, there's this little line of bricks along the bottom that I'm going to use a smaller brush on just so I can be a little more delicate with everything. But for now, there's just a whole lot of coverage that needs to happen. Which always looks not so great at the early stages, but it will pay off later. And I'll be filling in these little window portals, probably just with black, just to make them like these empty, dark, creepy.
Oh, yeah. Maybe
sort of,
even like the steel color to give it a little metallic look or something.
the
Steel with black wash.
the dark portals.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think these are metal?
No, glass, but really dirty, opaque kind of glass. So you use like the steel, which gives it that really dark, kind of shiny look, and then put black wash over it.
I could try that.
Give it just a little.
I worry the metallics will look a little too metallic no matter what, but I can do some experimentation. I was thinking of just making them black, like...
Yeah, just black.
Just really dark, but I might mess around with some options.
When I did the touch up with one of the colors, I totally missed one of the spots.
That's looking very red at the moment. But it starts to give you an idea of like the locations of those red spots. One more side to go.
Okay, well, those are drying. Before I see if the wash works on them or not, we're going to have an adventure in getting the paint back out because there's spots now that I didn't see before.
Sounds like a fun adventure.
And epoxy.
Oh, what are you epoxying?
I'm going to epoxy these guys.
Put them all together.
And the watermill.
Sounds fun.
So I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. And get myself
epoxy setup.
A little epoxy mixing station, which will consist of
Paper.
a chunk of paper
And a toothpick.
and a tooth. Yes.
So, epoxy, for anyone watching, is a very good glue that is generally a combined glue. So you have the glue proper and then a hardener that you mix together. It comes in a variety of forms. I think ours are, 5-minute? 5-minute epoxy sets in 5 minutes, like the name implies. But there are some epoxies that take like 12 hours to set and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In case you really need to
Like reposition things.
And it takes longer to set the thicker applied it is. But it's a very good, clear glue that we use a lot for putting models
Sticking things
together. Okay, so I got the chunk of the base of the internal structure, so it's like this red granite brick interior is how I'm sort of looking at it. And then it'll have other colors as sort of flourishes. What I'm gonna do right now is clear off my brush.
This is the epoxy. You can tell it says epoxy on it. This is the hardener, which says hardener on it. The hardener really smells bad.
Yeah, I hate the smell of hardener.
Yeah.
And you might want to have a little thing of like alcohol ready to clean your hands.
Isopropyl alcohol cleans up epoxy before it sets.
Fairly well.
So usually we keep a rag with that on it because, it gets on things you don't want it on, like your hands.
Or everything else.
And this is your all-purpose epoxy mixer and applicator.
That's toothpick.
Right. Just the alcohol smell?
No, I drank wrong.
Oh. You'd been drinking out of your official Dyson Dungeons.
I know, that was my mistake. So, what I'm doing right now, other than drinking incorrectly, is I'm going to take the Scarlet on a smaller brush here and just get the line between the dark gray and the red sort of a little cleaner. Because right now I just have them roughly approaching one another. And I want more of a consistent division between the two. I'll just help everything a bit to do that. So I'm going in with the Scarlet on a smaller brush and putting it up to the gray.
Still stinks.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is to get
Roughly
pretty much equal amounts of each of the two, which you can judge by the size of the blot that you put on the paper.
Love that epoxy smell.
So there it is. There's your pre-mixed blots. Smush them together and put it on the models. These really don't need very much. I mean, there's a lot of surface area here, but probably can just like glue the corners. And since they're fairly tight fit anyway, just kind of just want them to not fall apart when you pick them up and move them.
Mm-hmm.
Just mix it all together here, making a nice mix of mixture.
A mixed up mix and mixture.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to put it, you can see black and black just on the inside of the corners here, so that if it drips on the inside of the model, so nobody cares.
And I'm just cleaning up the sort of line between the gray and the red here, making sure they sort of make sense and are consistent. And I'm gonna go around with the gray after it dries and do the same sort of thing.
So there's that. Do you care which side the chimney goes on?
Why don't you just have it, there's two with the chimney, so do one way and one the other.
Okay.
That way they look slightly different from each other.
Hard part is actually just, there we go.
Slotting them in.
There's a little bit of ooze on the outside, but that cleans up quickly that way. What's nice about these, unlike the other houses, is there aren't any real gaps that need to be filled in.
Yes, these prints have a little better adhesion to one another than the Tudor style houses we did, which is nice. Although the Tudor style houses have so much detail.
Yeah, they're really gorgeous. And we'll be selling them painted for only $7,000 a piece.
Is that the price?
No.
For whatever about 20 hours of work is. Right?
Yeah. No, it took about 9 hours of painting for each one.
Oh, is it 9? I don't remember.
I think it was 3 shows. This one had a little breakage, so we'd use the epoxy to fasten the little.
Yeah, it had a little accident when it came off the 3D printer, but it's easily fixable. Like most things in model painting are actually rather easy to fix as long as you're willing to be a little patient. Okay, so my bottom edge is more well defined
Come
here.
back and hold that a little bit more later.
On that. So I'm gonna let that dry before I go into with the gray.
Then I have to go back and hold that in place until the epoxy sets. But I've got another one to do here before the epoxy sets. I'll put this one together first, and then go back and hold the other one.
Should I do the marble in ivory or just the white?
I think the ivory looks better.
I generally agree. It's a little sort of cream off-white.
Mm-hmm. It just shows up better.
What I'm actually going to do on this roof is this central beam and these figures I'm going to do in metal.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, should I do like a steel or like a brass? This is clearly some fancy tomb.
No, if the brass is weathered.
I will be weathering everything.
Yeah, I think they would have done it in brass.
Okay. Or I could do polished gold, but I think that might be a bit much.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had that much gold.
What I'll probably do then is carry that brass down, like, and make this metal door brass. And then do steel as reinforcing around it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense to do that.
So it's a very fancy place. Steal a cup. I feel like this could be a little more shaking before. Sometimes the paint separates a bit.
Yeah, especially the metallics.
Yeah. Get a big shake on this brass. That should be enough. Apparently I just paint everything in brass and red.
Right? Yeah, apparently. Just like the scorpion. Huh? Got a real theme going here. You need to hold this in place because it wants to pull back and open the crack.
Mm-hmm. So that one's going to take a little bit. Let it set slightly.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close to being set. See, these are mostly wood and shingles with a stone base. These will be pretty easy to paint. Might want to do, like something bright like red or green on the cross hatches on the roof.
Yeah, well, we'll vary them up. They could be painted. They could just be wood colored.
Mm-hmm.
They have like stone or wood shake roofs.
Yeah, they look.
They look like they're supposed to be wood.
Wood shakes. Yeah. Okay, now that's holding. So that's going to stay where it stays. And now we've got 3 Viking houses ready to prime. So next time you tune in, you might see us starting to paint these.
Yeah, they're yeah, we'll have to prime them once they're dry. I primed this in a hurry right before the stream. because I realized I had finished my scorpion, so I needed something to paint.
Okay, so there's that. Now what I want to do is glue together the water wheel that I've been painting forever. That now seems to be complete, and that requires just a little bit of epoxy spots, but that's hard, so I have to make some more. Here's the water wheel. So the roof needs, that's the inside. And so the roof needs to go on these little posts. That's just like 4 little dabs. And then the wheel just goes on the end of that little post. So that's like a little dab. So yeah, a little dab will do you, right? Anyway, so it'll sit together like that.
And as I look at this roof, one thing I'm thinking I might do is put a different color on the insets. Oh, hi, Bookstream.
Hi.
No worries. I might do a different color on this little inset triangle here.
So all the statues going to be polychromed?
Oh, polychromed? What do you mean?
Many colors.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, they're all going to be...
They're going to be like marble.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to like...
Or metal, maybe. But probably carved stone of some sort. Haven't quite gotten there yet. We're doing good. How are you doing? We have work being done on the house, so there might be some construction noises. Sorry about that.
You know, they're extending a little roof over the front door to make sort of a porch.
Jello's nice. I like orange Jello.
We always used to call our Jello by color and not flavor, because
Orange covers both.
yeah, orange is the only one that does. Otherwise, it was green Jello and red Jello. Was that it? I think that might have been pretty much it.
Egg Jello?
Egg?
I don't think that's a thing. I hope it's not.
You could put an egg in Jello.
That's true.
It was a thing, you know, to put fruit salad in Jello and marshmallows in Jello.
I think blue is both a flavor and a color.
You're not on camera.
No.
Hi.
Blue is not a flavor.
Blue is definitely a flavor. It tastes like blue. You can say that and it makes sense.
Gotcha. That was Lexi. She's doing some other work down here while we're doing our stream and distracting us. Yes, I'm making a very, very fancy crypt. I'm working on the roof right now. But this is all way brighter than it's gonna look in the end. It's gonna be heavily worn and torn and weathered when I'm done with it. But I'm getting all the base colors in. You know, some brass fittings like this roof part. I'm gonna be putting in some like marble on the statues and things like that um, before I go in and make it all dark and weathered and aged.
So I've been working on these sleeping bags, which I hope they show up somewhere because
You put a lot of time into them,
apparently this one used to be green,
and
but no one liked the color. So I changed it to these colors, which are the same colors as the other people's because it's all one party. But we're going to try a black wash on the light gray part there. Last time I did it, it looked terrible, so I painted it over again. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 coats of paint on there so far. We'll see if we need 6.
oh, thank you. They said everything we paint turns out really good.
Oh, that was nice. Thank you. So I'm going to use this just really lightly, this black wash on the gray part. I'm going to see if I can make it look not awful. We'll see. I'm going to kind of do it pretty much like dry brushing.
So I'm making these little gargoyles on the top of the roof, metallic as well, because this is an ostentatious crypt. So it's going to be a little messy, and then I'll clean up as I go in with another. What are you excited about? Anything in particular? Well, that's pretty exciting. You've wanted those shoes for years. Oh, that's very cool. Is it for a special occasion or just because? Oh, nice. Oh, so they'll take a while. Because then you say your birthday is in October near mine. Like, like I'm pretty sure I have that correct. So they'll take a while to arrive. I'm guessing. Yeah, that's how it goes. You're like, well, shipping might take a few months, and then it comes the next day. I'll have to check those out when I'm after the stream.
Your brush cleaning water is
Refreshing.
refreshing.
That's part of the problem when you're doing huge areas like this. And
It's paint now.
yes, it's become paint. I got one little statue. And eventually all this red is going to be more like this. I'm going to really do a lot of washing on it, make it look dark and grungy. But it's a little bright right now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So, the idea was to make that gray look kind of like an animal pelt. And here is a contrast between one with wash, this one, and one without wash, this one. So I don't know. What do you think?
I like it more with wash.
Yeah, so I should do the wash on the rest.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah. The rest of them, of course, have little straps and lanterns and ropes and stuff on them. So that'll make it
Extra fun.
less
Extra fun.
fun.
Extra fun.
Extra fun.
There you go. Be positive. Oh wow, a water park. That's cool. I haven't been to a water park in a long time. Probably
A long time.
a long time. Longer than I want to try and figure out.
Probably more, no, probably close to 20 years.
What water park are you going to? Not, you don't actually have to tell me. I don't know if you care or not, but, you know, I'm not trying to pry for information. I'm just curious. We live in Michigan, so our closest water park is called Michigan Adventure, which is
Near Muskegon.
near Muskegon, so it's a ways away. Water country. Huh. I don't think I've heard of that one, but it's probably sort of like Michigan Adventure, where it's a little it's like a local water park to our drive. Yeah, that's pretty close to the drive it is to get to Michigan Adventure, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. You're going back to do you live in England? Is that your normal, like you're visiting for the summer, or that's cool. I've only been to England the one time, mostly London, and sometime in Scotland. But we did a lot of we went to like Bath and Stonehenge and
Mm-hmm.
all the different sort of
The British Museum.
all the British touristy stuff. Haven't had a chance to go back yet.
The war rooms, the London war rooms.
Oh yeah. 2 statues.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm thinking of doing these insets in a different color.
Yeah, they should be.
The insets on the roof here, I'm thinking I might paint them something else, like a gray. Give some variation on the roof here. But first I have to get through all of these little guys on the roof.
Was I supposed to cook today?
I think we're having salad tonight.
Oh, that's right. Today's salad day. Tomorrow I cook. Need to take the workout. Does that look okay?
Yeah, it's looking good. Yeah, luckily we have a 3D printer, so we can print most of our own miniatures, so that we're not spending quite as much money as we might. Yeah, dice. I have a reasonable collection of dice. I would say though, like I have about 3 or 4 sets, but I know people who have 3 or 4 pounds of dice. But they are pretty fun to collect. So. Mostly, I like to get a dice set that. See, I like to get like if I'm doing a long campaign like we are for the show. I like to get one really nice set that's themed to the character I'm playing. It's sort of how I like to do it. So I don't have a whole lot of um, different dice, but I like to just get like a couple nice ones that I can match to those characters. I don't think I'm gonna have quite enough bronze or brass, I should say. Alright, 3 of 4 little gargoyles in brass. One more to go. And then I'll probably do the big doors on the front here in brass as well, while I have it out and on the brush. Mm-hmm. Did our music stop? I'm not seeing any music going. Sorry about that. Did it? Ah, that's the problem. That's better. I just realized that. I got so absorbed in
Being absorbed.
the painting that I didn't notice. Alright, so I'm getting close to done with these little statues. Get down under the legs and across the little feet. Alright, so there, I got some statues put on. While those dry for a second, I'm gonna grab my big crypt here and paint this door brass as well. It looks like it's probably an embossed metal door. Change position so I can stretch my back slightly as well. Just sort of getting the outer edges of the door first so that it can be a little more loosey-goosey on the inside. And all of this needs to be painted on the opposite side, so I'm not too worried if I get a splotch or two where I don't want it. Down the center here. Now I just need to fill in. Stretch my back before I hurt myself. guessing something not great happened in your Minecraft game just now. Did you just do a creeper?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So you're like in a PvP sort of situation. Oops. But that wasn't my water. Make sure I get all of the little crevices. This is a very ornate door on this sarcophagus, so... And I'm gonna say sarcophagus, crypt, and mausoleum interchangeably. Because I don't know what the technical difference is. Ostentatious.
That is.
Big brass door on the front, which will be toned down later, but for now, it's very shiny. Okay, so I'm going to set the brass aside for a minute. Wash off my brush. What I'm actually gonna do is get out my... Well, I'm quickly going to do a little correction with the red on some areas that, now that they've dried, I noticed need a little extra. A couple spots where I missed on my first pass. And I just want to make sure they're covered, so I'm just taking a little brush, getting those spots covered up. And I think there's a small spot where I had some brass spill over. I didn't want it. Okay. So I'm going to take the dark gray, and there's a couple spots I need to clean up around the base here. And then I'm going to also change the color of these insets on the roof to dark gray. Not that there. These insets I'm going to change to a dark gray to give the roof some extra variation. The steps here, do you think those are marble?
Yeah.
Probably.
It might be the red granite, but
I feel like marble sounds right.
Yeah.
So, shake up my dark gray for a second. Open that up. I'm using one of my smaller brushes. just get some cleanup done on some of these sections. Areas where maybe a little red spilled or I missed on my first pass. Things like that. You know.
Some Viking houses that need to be primed. This can go away.
If you feel like it, you could go
Here, let me
upstairs.
display my.
Alright, I'll try and not set anything on them.
Having spent 2 shows painting these things, might as well let you see them. There you are. Yay!
Little bedrolls. Also wizard bedrolls.
Oh yeah, the wizard. The wizard one is actually pretty cool. That one's worth showing. Maybe.
If you don't, drop it.
Sure. And my staff with a dragon head on it, a little book, a bottle of potion, and purple. Okay, well, enough of that. These can go in a place.
You're just done with them right now.
I'm just done with them.
It turned out to be the opposite.
More work. It's done now.
Oh, is that all set?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. So now we have a water wheel.
We do.
Good job.
Yep. Came out pretty decent.
You got a slew of emotes.
Thank you. What next?
Well, you can go run up and prime those if you want.
Good.
I can hold things down for a minute. If you want to do that. They'll probably be dry in like 5-10 minutes.
The primer's still up there.
No, it's right there in front of you. You'll probably, yeah, I'll need to pick the extra can.
Primer.
Yeah, so primer, for any uninitiated who might be watching, is basically just a spray paint that is designed for paint to adhere to it. So a lot of times if you're just trying to paint on plastic directly, it will not stick very well. So a way you can get around that is to apply a primer, kind of like you might with you're painting a wall. And that gives the model a surface to adhere to. I have a gray primer on here, so everything you're seeing that's gray is currently unpainted. So my dad is off to prime the Viking houses we have printed. He's going upstairs to prime them because you don't necessarily want to inhale a whole lot of it, and he's going to do it in the garage. So it'll just be a bit safer for everyone. And I am just cleaning up the bottoms. So I'm your mother, alright. I'm just cleaning up the bottom edge between this red and the gray right now. But I'm also going to set that down and start doing these cutouts in gray. Thanks. Alright. So, for these cutouts, what I want to do, so I don't have to repaint too much extra, is I'm going to put a little lining around the edges so that I have some space to work in from. This is the most delicate part of the process because I don't want to get too much on the inside edge here. I want that to stay red. Yeah, so just trying to be a little delicate with my edge work. Alright, and I'll probably do all of them. Well, I haven't really messed with TikTok too much. My wife Lexi is much better at it than I am, but I'm not the best at social media in general. But that's pretty cool. That sounds like a lot. Hi, Boan. Thanks for lurking. Wow. So, what I'm doing here is getting this filled in. So, I filled in this this one gray. It's still drying, so it's quite wet, but I'm gonna just go around and do all of them to give this roof some variation. And then all this crenellation along the edges is gonna be probably like a white marble. But I'm gonna save that until I've done all this gray, because this will take a little while. Because I'm doing some slightly more careful work, I'll stabilize my arm a little on the table. Make sure I don't make too many messes for myself to clean up. And who knows, now that I painted this, we'll probably end up having to fight skeletons in D&D. Or like zombies or something. Vampires. You know. Some sort of horrible undead. I'm probably setting myself up for some horrible fight later. what I'm focusing on right now is just getting all this edge work in. Because that's the most annoying part. And then I can go in with a slightly larger brush and fill in the centers. Yes, Nine stealing the pie was very entertaining. His big boy crime. That was, you know, we're criminals now, so you gotta practice, right? Oh, are you the one who clipped that? I saw that it got clipped. I don't usually run our Twitch, so, but I saw that pop up. That was good clipping. Thank you for doing that. Slowly getting all this. Yeah, we always love it when people clip our show. Get the best moments out of it. Like our big boy crime pie theft. You know, that's really not a bad idea. TikTok has got a lot of reach and gets in front of a lot of people. We probably should do that, actually. I'll mention it to Lexi since she knows TikTok a lot better than I do. And since we've already made the content, it's just a matter of uploading, I guess. Yeah, I'll let her know that you're offering. Quickly getting through all this. Well, thank you. That's a very nice offer. Okay, I got one side outlined, ready to be painted in. But since this is the annoying part, I think I'm just gonna muscle through it and do the other side as well, rather than have to come back to do it later. One bite out of each apple. And put them all. Is this in Minecraft or in real life though? Like, I'm assuming. Forget the apples. Like, were there a bunch of apple slices or like a whole bunch of different apples? Individual apples, a single bite, and just made like a giant mess? Basically. Wow. Well, the first bite's the best bite, so, you know, if you just take one bite out of each. That's, I guess you better make something with apples today. 'Cause, really? Just like open up, take a sip, and that's it? On to the next bottle? Wow.
Black houses? I don't know. Gray, mostly.
Game crime. Well, we were talking about it right before the pandemic hit. But it sounds like you have to buy a lot of apples. They're saying their daughter took a bowl of apples, took a single bite out of each one, and put them back in the bowl.
Oh, God. One bite from each.
Well,
That's pretty good. Okay. Well, let's start a Viking house. I'm gonna paint the stone on the bottom this neutral gray, lighter gray color.
Okay.
Because of the black wash, it comes out
Pretty good.
pretty good. Yeah. We'll use that for the chimney too.
Oh, yeah, nines would definitely take the bite out of every single apple, one at a time, and then put them
Put
back.
them back.
That is 100%.
Now, would he put them back
Hiding
so
the
that
bite.
so that the bite is hidden?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely not so that you could see it.
And it wouldn't just be apple, it would be like baked goods and stuff. That's definitely the sort of crimes that nines would commit.
Yeah, he wasn't very good at committing crimes in the last episode.
He committed a very good crime.
He stole a pie.
That was a good crime.
Oh, yeah.
Did he get caught?
It was the only crime.
Did he get caught?
No. Did we eat the pie? Yes. Because he found it. And we didn't want it to go to waste.
Exactly. I'm almost through outlining all of my
All of your triangles, your highlights,
insets, I guess.
inserts. Yeah, that's a good thing to do, is to have a contrast like that.
Yeah. Just wish I'd thought of it before painting it all red.
Yeah, well, sometimes you can't see what you want until you get what you don't. So instead of diddling around with little sleeping bags and putting 6 coats of paint on one of them because of colors and stuff, I'm painting the stone foundation of this house with a light gray color that when it's washed is actually very good, especially with these deep insets. I mean,
Oh yeah, the grooves between the stones.
yeah, I mean, this print really does a good job of delineating the stones.
That was a less good Michael Douglas movie. Delineating the stone
Yes, that was not as good.
as opposed to romancing the stone.
It was better than enumerating the stones, though. That one was pretty boring and predictable.
If you have candy, you can have it. If you have $1 million, you can have it. Alright, I am going to fill in these insets now
Now that they've outlined.
that they're outlined with a bigger brush that will cause much less of a headache.
Yeah, painting would be a lot easier if there were never any edges, between 2 colors.
Yeah. Like you could just paint and have the whole finished thing up here, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like these that we started with.
Oh, where...
You paint them one color and you put a wash on it, and it's done.
Because it's a single thing.
Mm-hmm. I decided to start with the stone for 2 reasons. One is that it's at the bottom. It's easy to start there. The other is that the rest of this is wood, and I'm not really sure at this point, what colors to paint it, because they could be like these horizontals could be one kind of wood and the verticals another. These could be lighter and these
Or
darker.
Each board is a different type.
Because
Because it would be hard.
Because it would be hard to paint? No. Because they only had a stick for each board?
They cut down a different tree for each log.
Mm-hmm. Or that's as big as the trees are. It's big enough for one board.
See? There you go.
So I'm thinking of experimenting with making the...
They're saying the horizontal should be like a faded yellow.
Oh, that would be interesting. We could use like that flesh tone with
Such a weird name for a paint.
Flesh, yeah. And it doesn't look like anybody's flesh. I mean, if anybody's flesh looked like that flesh paint, they would be very, very ill. Okay, faded yellow for the horizontals. What about the verticals? Just dark brown?
I think wood of some sort, yeah.
Yeah. And what about the big verticals on the house here?
Since you're taking
Since I'm taking
suggestions.
suggestions, there's that. And I'm thinking these might be kind of decorative, so they could be a bright color, like either yellow or red.
Well, I think
Or even
these
blue.
should match the corners and everything.
Yeah, just the regular dark.
Or if you want to have these be bright colors, have these be bright colors as well.
Okay. Now maybe I'll do one dull. We can always repaint it. Okay, faded yellow, wood. Probably faded yellow for this then too. And then
Probably, yeah. It's not like the Tudor houses. It's not super duper fancy, so they're probably not painting a whole bunch of different colors.
Yeah. Maybe the door would be a bright color. Or something.
Yeah, you can always do a bright colored door. That's alright. You don't have to decide for us. We can. I'll make the decisions. But you should have like your base color, which would be like the yellow, and then like a highlight color that you do most of the rest in. Just about done. With these insets, finally. And they're still drying, but there's a more interesting sort of roof having those be dark gray, I think.
Yeah, that's much better.
So, what I need to do is clean off this gray, close up my cap, thank you. And maybe I'll focus more on the roof today than most of the bottom here, but I think I'm gonna lay in the base for the marble crenellation around the top here.
So as I'm finishing the stone on this one, should we paint all three of them the same base color for the stone?
You can paint all of them. I think the neutral gray is perfectly acceptable for if you want for the stone.
For the stone base.
Because you can wash that black or brown or any color.
Yeah, and then the houses themselves can be painted different colors. If we want any kind of variation at all.
Yeah. I'm gonna clean this cup out because I need one for the ivory.
Yeah. Gryffindor. Yeah, everything turns out to be Gryffindor with her. I don't know. She's not even a Gryffindor person. Yeah, she said Gryffindor. They said Gryffindor. Because everything that you do lately has been Gryffindorish.
I don't know, that just seemed to happen. I'm doing this one in red because it's within the canon of our world. The dwarves have used a lot of red granite.
Yeah.
And then I just chose brass yet again.
Because
red and brass is apparently the color I'm using. The only thing I painted.
Yeah. Well, this has been painting the stone foundations is relaxing.
Why? Because you can't possibly mess it up.
Can't mess it up. There's not a chance. I can fail to get it in the cracks, but then I can go back and add paint later. After I'm done doing this, since they suggested faded yellow, I'm going to
Put in the...
try. No, I'm going to try out some faded yellow alternatives.
So you might do
Like what I might,
like this, or you could do
I might do,
like yellow proper
I might do the bright yellow, and then take white,
and thin it out
thin it out a little bit,
and put it over.
and brush it over like a wash.
That could work, or you could even take something like the deck tan or buff and thin it out to give it like a feel of like the wood is becoming exposed underneath.
Yeah, the deck tan might work. I could do the deck tan and then dry brush yellow over it. No,
Yeah.
that would be kind of backward though. So we're going to experiment with new techniques.
Yep.
On
our show.
on the show. The very next one, we'll be trying out different faded ways to make faded yellow. So thank you for that suggestion. Yeah, it'll be interesting trying to make it look right.
So, putting in this ivory for the future marble. The tricky part is going to be around like the feet of the statue and along the edges. So, what I'm going to do is carefully put... we filmed the D&D streams about 20 feet that way. We have... This is like the workshop part of our basement, and then we've converted part of the basement into a home studio with soundproofing and cameras and everything.
Yeah. And then the rest of that basement is the office for the business, another business that
I run.
And their mother runs. And then the other part of the basement is an exercise room
For biking and stuff.
So there's lots of things that can go on in the basement, and this is the only one that's even close to being relaxing.
I'm just putting in the white for the marble very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that looks correct, or should I be bringing the red down on this upper part?
Oh. That's a good question. I think the red should come down.
And just have
And then-
this
and
inner
then-
part be marble?
Yeah. And then
So it's-
maybe and then a highlight here, though. Whatever that is. Like a chain stuff.
Hmm. So should these crenellations along the side also be red then? If it's... because it sort of merges.
Oh, no,
Here.
the crenellations could be a totally different material.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
been-
added on. It looks like this is like the edge of the roof.
Yeah. Alright, so I did a little extra work I didn't need to. That's okay. I'll let that dry and paint over it.
I'm really impressed at how that print came out.
Yes.
You know, with the spiral pillars and the statues and things.
Mm-hmm.
It really is amazing.
that's the case, what I'm actually going to do is put in the red first, because otherwise I'll create a problem for myself later.
Oh, on the edges of the roof.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, I still have some out, hopefully. So we're sort of discussing is this edge here along the end of the thing, end of the roof, I'm gonna do in red. It was determined. Just getting the parts that matter most to be correct in with my small brush. Clean that off. I'll take this bigger brush and some more of the surface area. Probably need a little more of my scarlet to get all of this. Just another couple drops.
So if you remember, speaking of painting, the pickboard under the front door,
Sure.
it has a scuff on it. The white is showing through again, and I need to touch it up.
Okay.
Help remind me to take the paint and the paintbrush up. I'll do that one of these days.
I can
Try
try.
to remember.
I cannot guarantee I will succeed.
No, remembering things is... No.
Difficult.
What?
So
Remember doing what?
that's what I'm doing, is bringing this, wrapping this red around to the other side, to the sides here. A little. And since I have this red out, what I'm gonna do is clean up around the gray where I got one or two splotches using the smaller brush. Put a little dab. And it's mostly on these inside edges here that I want in red.
Mm-hmm. And if you're over 60 years old, you know that a little dab will do you.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a commercial. Or Brill cream.
Brill?
Brill, B-R-Y-L. C-R-E-M-E.
Isn't Brill? No, that's Krill. It's not Krill cream.
Brill cream was this oily, sticky stuff, almost like Vaseline, that men would run through their hair to make it glossy.
Why?
Because that was a thing to do back in the 50s. Everyone had
Was that like
slicked hair.
Was that like the greaser thing?
Yeah. But you didn't need much. You only needed a dab, because a little dab would do you.
Have you ever used it?
No. I don't like putting gunk in my hair. It's enough gunk that forms naturally in the hair. Having to add to it. Okay. So I should, while the paint is out, go over the ones I painted before and see if I missed spots.
Is there a way to disable the notification? So, cleaned up that red a little, put some on that end. I have to cover up some of this white I started putting in because I changed my mind about the color. So, gonna start by gently, carefully applying scarlet red around the statue, so I hopefully don't have to repaint it too many times.
I'm going to take a chunk of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these colors on it, and practice with shaded yellow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start by putting try the yellow and the flesh, these two colors. And once they're dry, do some overwashes to see how it looks. But I'm guessing if we need shaded yellow, we should probably start with yellow.
Makes sense. You have a kitty. Ours actually haven't come and yelled at us.
Yeah,
Well,
kind of
in the middle of painting. That's unusual.
Yeah, usually one of them shows up.
Yeah. Cats will, we basically do free feeding with our cats, so they don't usually come and get angry at us with, the food. Unless we forgot to refill it. That happens sometimes. I think one of our cats, Set, just meows to confirm that he still is existing. And just wants to make sure that we still see that he is alive and is a cat.
Yeah, he's a very talkative cat.
Okay. I fixed my red on the sides of the roof now. So, while that's drying, I'm gonna start working on this like white marble edge. I don't know how I wanna refer to it, but
Spiky bits.
crenellation. Oh yeah, bird. I mean, if there's a bird, there's a lot to deal with. Our cats make little like chirping noises at birds sometimes. I don't know exactly what they hope to accomplish with that. But
Oh, that kind of clicky,
yeah,
noise when they're hunting, when they get all excited and they see a bird or a
they
little
do this
squirrel
little
or
like, I don't know, it's like a dolphin or something.
something. Yeah, it does sound like a which you would think would not be very good if they were hunting. That
You
would
would-
kind of give them away.
You would think, but maybe they're just not very good at hunting.
I don't know. We've seen evidence that at least one of them is.
That's true.
Okay. Well, we have unfaded yellow and unfaded whatever that color is. Kind of. Yeah. So we'll let that dry, and then I'm going to try some overbrushes to see what happens. And try. Actually, you're right, this deck tan might be really good overwash. That might look pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or the ivory. The ivory might be a little too light. Try the white on the deck tan. It's going to be a while. I might have to wait till the next time.
Well, we are at 5.
Yeah, we are.
I'm putting white on the inside here for the crenellations, which is going to be the more annoying section.
Oh, yeah, the inside. You're going to end up having to pull the red out again.
I'm sure I will. That's just part of painting.
How's that ivory holding up? Last time I tried to buy some, I couldn't find any.
I think it's still at least half, maybe 3/4.
Okay. We were going through a lot of it when we were doing the stucco walls.
Get all these.
Mm-hmm.
And this ivory is a little thick, so it's not moving quite the way I want it, but it's fine for now. I'm just trying to use up a bit of this ivory that I pulled out before we run out of time. And actually, I think to that end, because I don't want to waste it, I'm gonna use a bigger brush and do some of the outside edge here. This part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to waste all this paint. And this ivory looks very bright compared to what I'm doing elsewhere, but it's gonna have a lot done to it later on to really tone it down. Give it sort of a marble look to it. But this is using it up.
So I think the white on the yellow actually doesn't look too bad.
This here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, this
Yeah, I like that.
it really tones the yellow down.
Mm-hmm.
The deck tan just makes it look dirty.
Yeah, the ivory is quite opaque right now, which is fine because it's an undercoat, basically.
But I might try that. You know, paint some of these boards. Maybe I'll just do that now, like here, where they can be repainted easily. Put some yellow on, and then see what happens when I put white on next time.
Yeah. Sounds like a good experiment.
So, since the white on the yellow is kind of interesting, I'm going to paint like one panel here of these horizontals to see how it looks when I wash it with the white the next time. I can guarantee that with the yellow by itself, it's not going to look that great.
I'm just trying to use up this paint that I poured out that I thought I was going to use more of and ended up not. So I'll probably be painting in some like veins in this ivory right now. Late once it dries to give it like a marbling texture. Yeah, because it was sitting out, it's a little thicker than I typically have it. But that's okay for this, just set dressing. Lexi's here checking the 3D printers. But once I get through this ivory, I'll probably call it a day. Just clean up.
Yeah, what day would you call it?
I don't know, is it Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday then. Yes, that's Lexi walking around in the background, messing with the 3D printers. Starting up something new, it sounds like.
Just more of the 10 billion rafts.
Uh-huh. And she's gone again. And she's back. And she's gone.
Back and forth kind of event there.
I'm thinking this stuff here on the inside of the triangle I'm actually gonna do in steel.
Oh.
Like it's like a grate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be that. Actually, yeah, it could be. It's good to have ventilation in the crypt.
Yeah. Never stay in an unventilated crypt.
Mm-mm.
But I'm gonna carry this ivory around over here. But I pretty much hit the end of my ivory, so just getting some of the basic colors blocked in on this crypt today. It's coming along, I feel like. And it'll be very bright and cheery until
until you make it not.
Until I get to weathering.
You know, like the scorpion was all bright and cheery until you started making it not.
That's always the weird part with painting things like this, is you're just like, well, that's a very shiny door. Until you get to the very end, and then all of a sudden, the whole thing shifts tonally. But, if you're good, you're starting to lay
I got 2 experimental yellow panels. And we'll experiment with overwashes to see what we can do.
So, yeah, thanks for coming and chatting.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for lurking, anyone who's lurking. And, we'll at least be doing this again on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a rebroadcast of our stream on Thursday, I think. Thursday night.
Yep.
So,
Thursday night.
yeah. All right.
So thank you. Bye.
Bye.